Good evening. David Molko here with Chief Meteorologist Matt Zafina. We're keeping an eye on severe weather, including a tornado warning for parts of the Portland metro. So Matt, walk us through the very latest on your end.
Yeah, the latest is the tornado warnings have been canceled, which is good news. So you can see on the map right now, we don't have any warnings at all. These storms are beginning to weaken now that the sun has gone down. They've really weakened significantly in the last 20 minutes or so. This is the cell we've been watching that had been showing us rotation on Doppler radar. Haven't had any reports of damage on the ground, but we have had gusty winds in this area for sure. So again, that was the cell we've been watching right along Highway 213 from Molalla through Colton and up towards Estacada. But the threat of a tornado has ended as these storms have really weakened in the last just little bit. So we'll continue to track these for you. And it is marching up towards Sandy. You will get some heavy rain. We may still get gusty winds from these cells as well. But the latest is the tornado warning has been canceled. Now, that's a report of 52-mile-an-hour wind gusts in the Estacada area earlier from these storms. So it's been a very, very stormy afternoon with these cells. We had tornado warnings earlier up around Clark County and then also down to the east of Salem, but all the tornado warnings have been canceled at this point. If you get a tornado warning, here's what you want to think about. And it has included several towns in our area this evening, so this is a good exercise as we head into spring. Be ready to take cover. Basements are best. Interior rooms are better than exterior rooms. By that I mean don't stay in a room that has an outdoor window or door. You want to be on the interior of your house to avoid flying debris and damage. And if you are outside, look out for that. And of course, you've got the potential for down trees and down power lines with the strong winds that we get with severe thunderstorms and tornadoes. Now, that round of wild weather is over, but this system is still marching north. This is the system that we have the weather impact alert for and a wind advisory for the valleys. As this rolls in later on this evening, the winds are going to be picking up in the Portland area and throughout western Oregon. We've got a high wind warning on the coast and a wind advisory for the valleys. Expect the windiest time probably between about 8 p.m. and midnight, narrow it down to maybe 9 to 11. Possible down branches and power outages will be possible again. So if you haven't done it already, make sure the garbage cans are secured. Any other objects that can blow around because 50-mile-an-hour winds will do that. David?
Hey, Matt, before we let you go, just a quick question. I know you said the tornado warnings have now been lifted or canceled. Any sense of whether there's a funnel cloud that was on the ground or any reports of damage that you're getting from Clackamas or Marion counties right now?
I haven't had any reports of damage or of an actual visual sighting of a tornado on the ground. These warnings were all issued because rotation was observed, strong rotation on Doppler radar. That's enough for the Weather Service to issue a tornado warning. And it's warranted to do that because if we're seeing rotation on Doppler radar, especially at this scale, then that means there's likely something going on. And the whole point of a warning is to give people time to prepare to go inside and get out of harm's way. So the fact that we didn't see anything on the ground is great news. There could be reports that still come in later on this evening. Keep in mind too, David, that most of the tornadoes we get in western Oregon and western Washington are not of this scale. Many of them, the scale of motion is so small, Doppler radar can't even see it, can't even resolve it. But with this one, it could, which meant the rotation was pretty significant.
Hey, really important context there. Appreciate it, Matt. We'll check in with you in just a few minutes there. Meanwhile, we continue with our live TV coverage tonight. Devin Haskins tracking the wind threat that Matt mentioned there in Clark County. But first, to meteorologist Joe Ranieri. He is in the West Hills tracking the travel impacts. Joe, how do things look right now where you are?
Relatively calm compared to what we have been seeing over the last few hours or so. We're done with the heavy downpours, but we're not quite done with the rain. More rain is in the forecast for late tonight and into tomorrow morning. And since Saturday, in parts of downtown Portland, they've seen more than 2 inches of rain. And now what has some folks concerned with PBOT and ODOT is the high winds that's expected tonight. Portland has seen over 2 inches of rain since this past weekend, and the heavy rain has turned roads into a mess. Crews with PBOT were busy cleaning up a landslide that shut down Northwest Cornell Road between Skyline and Thompson Road.
We've got a lot of rain headed for us tonight. We had a lot of rain over the weekend as well. We need the public to be aware that there's high wind expected and substantial rain again overnight tonight.
There were 2 different landslides that happened within minutes of each other on Sunday afternoon. One on Cornell Road.
PBOT removed 30 cubic yards of material in 2 truckloads.
And the other on Northwest Thompson Road. Both of those slides were cleaned up by Monday afternoon.
There's very little we can do to actually prevent specific slides. What we can do is when we have a known slide like these, try to mitigate it as much as possible.
It wasn't just along the metro area where crews were seeing slides. A section of Highway 30 was shut down in the Columbia River Gorge. Heavy rain knocked rocks onto the road near Rowena on the historic Columbia River Highway. And along Highway 224, just 4 miles from the Ripple Brook Ranger Station, a huge landslide happened. As more rain and wind moves into the forecast overnight Monday and into Tuesday morning,
Northwest Portland and parts of Southwest Portland are very prone to landslides. So everyone should just be aware of that.
crews from across the metro area and the state know they'll be doing a lot more cleanup. Now, David, those 2 slides that took place over the weekend happened just up the road here from where we're at in Northwest Portland. Now, what they're going to be, crews with ODOT and PBOT are going to be paying close attention to is what could take place tonight and in the coming days with the potential of more slides. Back to you.
And of course, just a reminder to take your time and slow down on those roads tonight. Thank you, Joe. Hey, as Matt mentioned, one of the big concerns is the potential for power outages because of winds across the region. This is new video just into the KGW newsroom of a downed power line in southeast Portland. This was on Southeast 91st Avenue, right next to the former Marshall High School campus after that last round of thunderstorms we talked about in the 4 o'clock hour move through. It started a small fire, but there's no damage. We understand, though, that this is still a live wire with crews on scene. A reminder, if you see downed power lines, assume they are live. Call 911. Do not get out of your vehicle and do not go near them. Speaking of outages, we're seeing a cluster now with numbers rising across our region. PGE reporting, I think it's about 25,000 now across the Portland metro. Pacific Power, 29,000 now, a lot of those in the extreme northwest of Oregon. And we're also tracking Clark County, where it looks like, as I'm clicking through here, we're now up to 4,700 without power customers, including about 2,000 in the Salmon Creek area. Let's bring in Devin Haskins live in Vancouver. Devin, how are things looking where you are?
Right now, pretty calm. The wind stopped blowing, but an hour ago, a couple hours ago, it was blowing pretty hard. Now that you mentioned those trees and that power line down, that's something that is a big concern when those winds blow in tonight, and something that power crews saying they're ready for and ready to handle when that happens. We talked to PGE before coming up here to Clark County, and they say that if there are power lines down or trees across the road, it's something they prepare for before each storm. Power company says that it's been tracking this storm for days and says it will have crews spread out throughout the area ready to go as needed. This is the 3rd strong wind event in the last 3 months to hit our area. PGE saying each one bringing its own unique set of challenges.
So vegetation is one of the biggest causes of power outages, especially with high winds. And so that's, what you see is, it's pretty simple. Mother Nature does her thing. She comes in, she blows the wind around, and either the branches or the trees themselves come down onto power lines, causing outages.
So here are some things you can do so you're prepared anytime a windstorm blows in. 3 things. First, have a plan. Where are you going to stay during the outage if it goes out? Next, have a kit. If you're staying at home, have things like food, water, warm blankets, and batteries so you're good to go and ride it out. And keep your info up to date with your power company so that they can get a hold of you via text alerts when the power could be restored. And once your power comes back on, I've said this a couple times, but something to keep in mind of if the power crews are driving through your area and they know there's a power outage out there, keep a porch light on so that way if they see it on in your area, they know that that section or at least your house has power and they can move on to try and narrow down where the problem lies. Back to you.
Yeah, good to see the street lights on behind you tonight there. Devin Haskins in Vancouver. Thanks, Devin. By the way, if you're seeing the weather impact your neighborhood, please take some photos or video and share it with us by texting the number on your screen right now. It's 503-226-5088. It's always the same number. We'll share those with you throughout our newscast, including tonight on KGW News at 11, as well as on KGW.com. In your headlines, Providence nurses have just approved a new contract ending a strike that has lasted over 6 weeks. The Oregon Nurses Association, that's the union, says nurses at 8 Providence hospitals overwhelmingly voted in favor. The deal includes pay raises ranging from 20 to 42% over the course of the contract, 16 to 22% right away. They will also get retroactive pay and a ratification bonus, plus provisions around staffing levels and pay for missed meals and breaks. Nurses are set to return to work by Thursday. Portland police are looking for a person who shot and killed a man in an RV trailer in the Lents neighborhood. Authorities say the body of 37-year-old Jeremiah McKenzie was found in the trailer near Southeast 84th and Inslee last Thursday. Police initially called McKenzie's death suspicious, though they've now ruled it a homicide. No word on any suspects. And police are also looking for at least 2 people they say robbed a Hazelwood bar at gunpoint. This was late Friday night at Rounders on Northeast Halsey. Photos we're going to show you are from surveillance video from inside the bar. Witnesses say a man came in and was acting odd. They say he opened the door, which had a security lock, for 2 armed people in masks wearing what appeared to be delivery driver vests. Police say they demanded money from the bartender, then pointed their guns at customers, stealing phones and credit cards before they ran off. In an update, a judge has denied bail for a former St. Helens High School teacher accused of sexually abusing more than a dozen people. Evan Watson's in the newsroom. So, Evan, what did the judge say?
That there's clear evidence that Stearns could be a danger to the community. Stearns now faces 29 sexual abuse charges against children and adults spanning decades. He was a choir teacher at St. Helens High School. The judge cited Stearns' incredibly concerning behavior throughout multiple allegations as reason to keep him behind bars. Fired St. Helens High School teacher Eric Stearns will stay in jail until his trial. A judge denied his bail Monday. Stearns is accused of sexually abusing students and adults over many years. The number of Stearns' alleged victims has more than doubled since his November arrest. 16 people are now accusing Stearns of abuse, according to the latest amended indictment. Stearns pleaded not guilty to 29 charges against him. Judge Brandon Thompson said there's clear and convincing evidence that Stearns is a danger to the community.
An individual like him in the community, I believe, is both going to re-victimize the people that are out there. I think it's of note that more people have come forward since he's in custody, which only echoes the state's position that people feel more safe when he's not out there. Also have large concerns about who he may choose to interact with if he was on release.
In Monday's hearing, a prosecutor read statements from alleged victims, sharing how students felt sick and uncomfortable around Stearns. The prosecutor said Stearns targeted students who were vulnerable, struggling academically or personally. Attorney Amber Kinney, who represents 7 of the alleged victims, said her clients are relieved. They all wanted Stearns to stay in jail.
He's not going to pose a risk to them. While they're out living their day-to-day lives, they don't have to worry about him showing up, him pressuring them, him bumping into him randomly in the community. It's just a huge relief to them.
The St. Helens School Board fired Stearns earlier this month, citing immorality and neglect of duty. Defense attorney Jennifer Myrick argued that Stearns was not a threat to society, saying he'd previously been released on bail without issue after his first arrest. And she said grooming and being creepy are not crimes. Her arguments did not persuade Judge Thompson. A pretrial hearing in this case is set for June 4th. David.